So the big question is today's sell-off the start of something deeper, something that is really a credit crisis of sorts, as Jonas just alluded to? Marc Faber, publisher of the Gloom, Boom, and Doom report, has been warning and warning and warning about a bubble in stocks for some time. He says we never got through '08. He joins me now. Marc, good to see you. Good to talk to you.
Yes, hi. How are you?
I'm good. Market's not so good, though, off 360 points right now on the Dow.
Yes.
What's going on here, in your view?
Well, it could be worse, the markets, because I lived through the '87 crash, during which stocks dropped 21% in one day. So what we've seen here is just a minor appetizer of something larger that will evolve.
This is an appetizer of something bigger, in your view. I mean, don't forget, after '87, we managed to recuperate pretty well. We didn't get that hangover that we've had that's been going on really since 2008. Why is it, and before I actually say why is it, you know, people are talking about a systemic crisis here, a debt crisis. Debt crises are far more difficult than an equities crisis to combat. Do you think that that's what we're in right now?
Well, my sense is that many policies that were implemented, in particular zero interest rates and more recently negative interest rates, are rather negative for asset markets than positive. Mm-hmm. They create a lot of uncertainty in investors' minds, and we have statistics on all the countries that have introduced negative interest rates. And in all these countries, actually, the savings rate went up. Because, say, if you tell me before I had, say, 6% interest on my deposit, and now I have to pay something to have deposits with the banks, then I feel very insecure, and therefore I may save more rather than spend. So these policies may be actually counterproductive, and as was just mentioned before, they are negative for bank earnings. Mm-hmm.
So you blame the Fed?
I'm not blaming only the Fed. I'm blaming the Fed, the Bank of Japan, and the ECB under Mr. Draghi.
Central banks.
They basically, they talk to each other every day. They coordinate monetary policies, and they come from the same neo-Keynesian, arrogant, interventionist culture to believe that they can do something more or better than the market mechanism. For the last 5,000 years of recorded human history since the times of Babylon, we never had negative interest rates because the natural market said, I tell you, you can have today $100,000 or in 5 years $100,000. You will take the $100,000 today because you can use them for 5 years. So, to introduce negative interest.
In your view, just to help the viewers understand, it sounds as though the central banks are basically trying to ignore human instincts, and in doing so have created a whole alternative set of problems. Are these big problems?
The central banks remind me of the movie One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, where the doctors are the insane, whereas the inmates are actually quite common people with common sense and normal. This is exactly what I think is happening today.
So where do we go from here? You get a market that's off 340 points, a lot of trepidation, a lot of volatility there. Does that continue?
My sense is that the market has been weak for a year now. The average stock on the New York Stock Exchange is down 25%. The market near term is becoming very oversold. We may still go somewhat lower, but I would wait for a rebound to sell short or to sell my holdings. I think a rebound is overdue. We get a spring rally, no new highs, and probably the worsening economic outlook. The stock market is telling you a recession is already here.
Really?
And
do you believe it's here?
I beg your pardon?
Do you believe it's here?
I believe that the global economy is in a recession already, yes. And I believe the political background in the U.S. is also going to create a lot of uncertainty.
Yeah.
Because the two leading candidates are outsiders of the political establishment, Bernie Sanders and Donald Trump, and that may create further tensions within the financial service industry.
Yeah. All right. Well, on that note, we're going to turn to politics. Marc Faber, always good to talk to you, sir. It's not so often that I get someone who can make the comparison between One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest and the market, but it's probably a pretty apt one these days. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you.